We are back at it again here with another video with the Invest for Tomorrow. To all the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all the subscribers, welcome back. All I ask for in return is for you to smash that like button to let me know you watch this video. Helps out the YouTube channel and lets me know you appreciate the time and effort I put into making these videos. So here we are with the S&P 500 index. We're going to talk about, are we going into a stock market crash or correction? We're seeing it here with 42 Vision. I'm going to break it down, all the data, all the different news articles out there, and how this is an opportunity. And even through the current pullback, and even if this continues to pull back, I'm going to share with you guys why opportunities are still out there. But before we jump into everything here, I want to share with you guys the opportunities I mentioned on Friday morning over at the Discord. Managed to find 2 home run opportunities, and we'll continue to do that every single day. Check out the link down below if you want to become part of the community, a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together. We're going to check out the home runs of the day, and then we're going to jump right into it here as we break down all the information of a possible pullback, how far is it going to go, and how this is an opportunity moving forward. The home runs of the day were spectacular. What a great way to end the week, especially on a Friday. And after the S&P 500 index has been in a downward trend for the last week, I have managed to find daily at least 1 home run opportunity between the weekly watch list and the daily watch list. And if that's something that interests you, I would like to invite you to join us. Check out the link down below in the description to the Discord. And by joining, you'll become part of a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together. So EFTR was a home run I mentioned yesterday. SOS gave us 5 to 10%. And ENDP gave us a home run opportunity. Now we're going to look at that chart in just a moment. But before we do, I want to share with you guys here EFTR. EFTR was a home run yesterday. I was watching it in today's pre-market. And if it wasn't for 42 Vision, which are the candlesticks that you see here, it's an indicator you can gain access to as well by joining the 42 Vision tier level. But it allows me to see the dips and the rips and the transitions of an upward momentum or downward momentum. So if it wasn't for 42 Vision, I wouldn't have made an opportunity out of this early on, because I don't like trading the pre-market, but I made something out of it because of 42 Vision. Now, these were the 2 opportunities I mentioned this morning that turned out to be spectacular. So SOS gave us nearly a 10% jump in the pre-market, pulled downwards, gave 5 to 8%, hit another bottom here, and took off for a 15% plus opportunity. And the home run of the day was ENDP. We caught this one as it was pulling downwards after running after the bell. And after pulling downwards, you could see there with 42 Vision how it transitioned and how it had strength all the way up towards that highest point of 20% plus. If this is something that interests you and you want to become part of, check out the link down below, and we look forward to having you join us. Let's jump into these charts. So here we are with the S&P 500 index, and we're seeing it with the 42 Vision indicator. And the 42 Vision indicator is one of the tier levels you can join over at the Patreon. You gain access to the Discord, the Patreon, the videos that I post, as well as the 42 Vision indicator as you see it here on the chart. If you compare this chart to one of your charts, you'll see a big difference. One of the things I love is when I start to see a transition from an uptrend going into weakness, and you can see the full transition there, and also a transition from weakness back to the reversal of an uptrend, right? When the strength is coming back. Now, I'm going to be monitoring this very closely because this has been a big shift here, and have to see if this is going to continue going downwards. But one of the biggest things that will let us know if we're in a correction or crash based off 42 Vision is if that red candlestick, that last red candlestick right there, continues going red and eventually shifts, which we have not seen all year happen, into white with red borders, right? That hollow candlestick. And that hollow candlestick, if it just continues to pull downwards very hard, that's how we know that we're in the middle of a correction or crash. And we have not seen that all year, okay? But this has been a pretty big shift here from the peak. And as it's been going downwards, this is where, as an investor, you're supposed to be excited, okay? If you've been in these transitions plenty of times, at least 1 or 2 times already in your investing journey, you don't get fazed by this. But let's say, for example, you joined in the middle of this year, or you joined at the end of last year, right? If you didn't really feel that difference that happened here right around this time, right? February, correction towards March, and then May and April were a little bit stagnant, then you don't know too much about pullbacks. You don't know too much about corrections or crashes. These are the best moments as an investor, right? To go ahead and make an opportunity out of it, okay? This is where maximizing opportunities happen, okay? And every pullback, right, is a setup for the next bull run. I always say that, right? This was a huge pullback. That was a crash. This right here was a correction. You see those white with red borders. 42 vision, doesn't matter what time frame, what year, it always shows you what's going on in the charts based off the current direction of the candlestick and where things are standing in the charts based off specific levels. So this is where opportunities are formed. Every time those big pullbacks, the stock market goes higher. Pullback, stock market went higher. This was the biggest crash we've been through. This was the fastest recovery, and a lot of people are actually expecting a pullback at this point. Now, I'm stating, and this is my opinion, that we're going to go through a correction, but not a crash. A crash is like 10 to 20% pullback, okay? I think that would be a really significant pullback if that was to happen, but I'm sure that we're going to go through a correction, which could be 5 to 10% and slightly above 10%. Let's just say like up to 12. Once it gets closer to 15 to 20, we're getting closer to a crash. I don't think it's going to be that big, but it is going to be significant in the next coming weeks and months. One of the biggest things right now is the fact that the Federal Reserve will be speaking at the end of this month. So that's something that's already getting priced in as well, with the fear and uncertainty of tapering to start. Some people are saying tapering might start November, December, or start being talked about towards the end of the year to begin next year. But the fact that it gets brought up, it makes the whole entire stock market a little bit shaky. So the thing about it is, it's pricing in the fear right now and uncertainty, but then also a lot of profit taking from last year's drop all the way to where we're at now. Even that pullback that we had back in October and November and September, I mean, you could see it right there, okay? September pullback, run up really fast. October pullback towards November because of elections. It was a little bit rocky, and then it just continued going higher. So we are in the middle of a possible correction / crash. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, it could turn into a crash if uncertainty and fear gets that big. Also, the VIX has shot up big time, okay? It was way down here on September 7th in the 15s, and it's already shooting up to almost 21. If it breaks out towards 24, 25, I mean, we're on our way to a possible pullback. And that's another thing too. 42 vision lets you see the drops and then the peaks of momentum on the VIX, which is how they measure, right? Experts measure the fear index is what they call it, right? The fear in the markets. And then you start to see it in the markets as well. So what is being thrown out by the media in these articles? Well, right here we have one, and it's called "Stocks Look Dangerously Overvalued and Are at Risk of a Sharp Correction as Investors Misjudge the Sustainability of Explosive Earnings Growth." Now, this is kind of true. The explosive earnings growth, a lot of stocks are starting to slow down, so they're eventually going to kind of reflect those losses. So when you think about it, earnings growth exploded and now it's pulling back a little bit. All it could do is grow in the future, hopefully, right? So these pullbacks might be opportunities overall. So that's coming out, right? You're getting all this stuff. You get these pictures of worry or someone, thinking really hard, and they always use like the same pictures, which is very interesting, or the same people. So they go ahead and talk about why it could pull back and that it's unavoidable. And then you come over here and you put S&P 500 news. In the last 27 minutes, why worrying about a correction is still a wrong way to invest. That was just 27 minutes ago. That has everything to do with what I'm about to talk about. And that's why I've stated you shouldn't really worry about these things. You should be excited because this is where opportunities are formed. But you have here the S&P 500 has had a good run. Why Wall Street thinks a pullback is coming. Then you have the big days are gone. Corrections hit half of the S&P 500 index. And then also corrections overdue. Fifth straight loss. You just see all this negative news, right? And they love to pile this in. And it creates more worry, more uncertainty. And sometimes they want to say, oh, it creates that, effect for all the retail investors to get out. Sometimes it's just an excuse for them to take profits. And I'm talking about the hedge funds. Them are the hedge funds. They're the ones taking profits really fast. Retail follows if they want to, or if they get worried, and then all of a sudden they bring it right back up as well, which is pretty interesting. So let me show you guys how during the correction, right, has started on the 7th to the 10th, right, how we have performed on our daily opportunities and why this is opportunities overall. And we're going to look at how far down could this go and what's going to happen if it goes towards that. We're going to break it down right now. So I want to start off by saying that opportunities are always formed on pullbacks. And this article that came out 27 minutes ago is the best way to put it. Why worry about a correction if it's still the wrong way to invest? And it is. You shouldn't be worrying about a correction. If not, you should be preparing for it. And every time there is a pullback, it is a setup for the next bull run, whether it's a correction pullback or a crash pullback. Now, I'm going to show you guys what we talked about on the 7th, the 8th, the 9th, and the 10th, and how they performed, right? The best ones. So on the 7th, I talked about ADAP, RNXT, AEHR, and OPAD. And this was on the 7th already 20% up, and on the week it went up 25%. And this is a stock I mentioned on the weekly watch list, HIPO. So there was opportunities all week while the stock market was going down. So let's go ahead and see how these performed on the 7th. So AEHR 15% plus, and then we also had OPAD 20% plus, which was phenomenal, okay, on the 7th. Now, the stocks I mentioned on the 8th turned out to be phenomenal as well. It was AEI and ADMA. They gave us small jumps of 5 to 10%, 10 to 15% at their highest points. And on the 9th, we talked about several stocks, and 2 of them turned out to be home runs, EFTR and GEVO. We're going to look at these charts together now as we pull it up. And as the stock market is going downwards, right, we're finding stocks that are going upwards, right? And that's the phenomenal part about this, and that's what we try to do daily. So GEVO, we caught it in the pre-market, and it went up all day, giving multiple opportunities to a highest point of 30% plus. And EFTR, it happened in a matter of 30 minutes. It went up 30 to 40%, giving a highest point of 45% plus, 40% plus opportunity, because it reached nearly almost 45 to 50% at that peak, but I just wrote their highest point 40% plus. And these are the opportunities you can become part of by joining the community, and this is what we do daily, right? And then we have here the biggest pullback of the week on the 10th, and we managed to still find home run opportunities on the 10th. These were the stocks I mentioned on the 10th. I talked about EFTR again, SOS, and ENDP. So EFTR gave a quick jump of about 20% in the pre-market going towards the bell. Then we have also SOS giving 15% plus, and ENDP gave us a nice home run opportunity of 20% plus at its highest point. And this is what we do, like I said, daily, weekly, no matter where the stock market is going. You can see this stock going upwards, and the S&P 500 index is down. Almost every single day, the S&P 500 index was down when we caught these stocks. You can see it there time after time after time. This is the only day that the S&P 500 index was green, and that was on the 9th. And then you can see on the 10th, red again, and we still managed to find opportunities. So, like I said, you can't be worrying about a correction if not preparing for it and taking advantage of the opportunities that are out there. So I'm going to break down here what's going on in the chart and what we should be expecting moving forward. So just based off the chart, you can go ahead and look at it, and it's already pulled back about 3%, right? If we get closer to 5%, that means that we're going to pull back nearly another 100 points, and that would be around this area down here or a little bit in between it, right? Like around this area right there, okay? That would be a 5% pullback, and if it continues and it goes towards 10%, we would possibly see this 42.34 range getting touched, and possibly even down here 41.63 between 10 to 12%. So those are the key levels to be watching of how far this pulls back. But like I said, what I love about 42 Vision